Today's video is just a little bit of an introduction into what permutations and combinations are. Permutations and combinations both talk about the number of possibilities that you have. Permutations are the number of possible permutations if R items are taken from N items in a specific order. Sorry, that's blurry. So permutations are the number of possible permutations if R items are taken from N items in a specific order. So a good example of this would be how people finish in a race. All the different possibilities that 10 people could finish first, second, or third. It matters the order that they're in. So with permutation, order matters. So this is like first, second, third in a race. Or president, vice president, secretary, etc. So this is where the order that you pick things or the order that you name them in matters. In these, the formula, and this can all be done in your calculator too, but the formula for permutations are NPR. That's what your calculator, it's going to look like. So whenever we do permutations in your calculator, let me get my one that's alive. You would go to math, probability, NPR goes with permutations. And the formula that your calculator is using is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. N is the number of items, r is the number that you're picking. And remember that exclamation point means factorial. So we talked about this a little bit in one of our last videos. If we were talking about 3 factorial, that's the same as 3 times 2 times 1. If we were talking about 10 factorial, that would be the same as 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Oops. So this is our formula. And that's our definition. We only use permutations and the formula for it when it matters the order that you select the items in. It's sort of kind of like if you go to a restaurant, you're supposed to order an appetizer first, then a main course, and then a dessert. So the order matters. The other type of tool that we'll use with these, instead of permutations, is combinations. So combinations, if order mattered for permutations, combinations, order doesn't matter. So we're going to come down below and we're going to talk about combinations. Combinations are the number of possible combinations of n things when you take are at a time in any order. So the number of possible combinations of n things when you take r at a time in any order. So you're pulling r items out of n total. Order does not matter. So an example of this is a committee. So if you're picking 15 people out of 100 people that apply to be in the Grizzlies for Life group, you're taking 15, and it doesn't matter the order that they're picked in. Being picked first last doesn't matter. So committee is a great description of a combination. In this case, the formula is NCR. It looks the exact same as NPR, writing out the N is how many total, the R is how many you're taking. And if you go into your calculator, you can find it in the same place. So math, and scroll over to probability, NCR is right below PR. So NCR, the formula for that is a little different. So we still have n factorial on the top, but we divide it by n minus r factorial times r factorial. So this is a little bit different. It changes the way that we calculate it. Combinations is normally a smaller number than your permutations. The reason for that is it doesn't matter if you pick something first, second, or third, or fourth, it's still counted the same. So combinations is normally a smaller number than permutations. We'll be working with combinations and permutations next week, and then we will get to go back to fundamental counting principle just a little bit as well. Let me know if you guys have any questions about what the difference between a permutation and a combination is, and we'll do some examples with these two types next week.